In this session, we shall read about two musicians from two very different corners of the world in the inspirational collection of short stories called The Sound of Music. The first story is about Evelyn Glennie, a percussionist from Scotland who can play more than 1000 instruments to perfection. And the second story is on Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai Maestro and a Bharat Ratna recipient. Now, in life, disability for most becomes a hindrance in the path of success. Many break down psychologically and rarely can motivate themselves to get back. The world too never fails to discriminate from the rest. The lifelong disabled tag leaves an everlasting impact on their mind. But Evelyn Glennie was not one of them. Her story has a different tale to tell. The story begins with a small, thin and nervous Evelyn looking younger than 17, trying to feel the vibrations of the approaching train on the underground train platform. This aspiring musician has faced bigger challenges. She was 8 years old and was waiting for her turn to play piano. But when her name was announced, she did not move, and this was noticed by her mother, Isabel Glennie. She had lost her hearing capacity to some extent. She managed to conceal it from her friends and teachers in the school. But by the time she was of 11, the case of her deafness got confirmed when the headmistress called her parents to discuss about her deteriorating marks and urged them to consult a specialist. She had lost her hearing capacity totally. It happened as a result of gradual nerve damage. Everything had turned black for her. But she did not give up to it. She was determined to lead a normal life. One day, she noticed a girl playing xylophone and decided that she wanted to play it too. Many teachers discouraged her, but famous percussionist Ron Forbes helped her in learning music. He recognized her potential and supported her in achieving her goal. He began by tuning two large drums to two different notes. He told her not to hear music through her ears but through some other way. She practiced hard and got success in listening to music through other organs of her body. She had learned to open her mind and body to sounds and vibrations. She never looked behind from that point onwards. She now dedicated herself to music. She toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra. At the age of 16, she decided to make music her life. She gave an audition for the Royal Academy of Music. She scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. At the age of 17, she moved to the Royal Academy for a 3-year course and bagged the topmost awards during her career. With her unfaltering determination, she became the most eminent and most demanded percussionist who could play proficiently a large number of instruments. She had got a mastery of playing some 1000 instruments of music. She could listen and understand even the minutest points. She spoke flawlessly with a Scottish lilt. Not only did she speak flawlessly, but she also managed to learn French and basic Japanese. She says,
I remember when I was 12 years old and I started playing timpani and percussion, and my teacher said, well, how are we going to do this? You know, music is about listening. And I said, yes, I agree with that. So what's the problem? And he said, well, how are you going to hear this? How are you going to hear that? And I said, well, how do you hear it? He said, well, I think I hear it through here. And I said, well, I think I do too, but I also hear it through my hands, through my arms, my cheekbones, my scalp, my tummy, my chest, my legs, and so on. And so we began our lessons every single time tuning drums, in particular the kettle drums or timpani, to such a narrow pitch interval. So something like that of a difference, then gradually and gradually. And it's amazing that when you do open your body up and open your hand up to allow the vibration to come through, that in fact the tiny, tiny difference can be felt with just the tiniest part of your finger there. And so what we would do is that I would pop my hands on the wall of the music room, and together we would listen to the sounds of the instruments and really try to connect with those sounds far, far more broadly than simply depending on the ear.
In 1991, she was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award. She calls herself a workaholic. Apart from the regular concerts, she gives free performances in prisons and in hospitals. She also gives high priority to classes for young musicians. She is a shining inspiration for deaf children. Eveline has accomplished more than most people twice her age. She has given inspiration to the handicapped and enormous pleasure to millions.